Guys, we have some very interesting news for Bitcoin, and I've just realized something which might indicate that the bull cycle will not end as early as I predicted, which is end of this month or next month. Now, it's not, of course, it's just a theory, and I want to show you guys right away why I think Bitcoin might go much higher than expected and might go above 200k, even to 300k this cycle. And that's a certain indicator. That's the Pi cycle top indicator. And essentially, if we look at it here, the black line is the Bitcoin price, okay? Then the orange line is the 111-day moving average of the Bitcoin price. And the green line is the 350-day moving average. The 350-day moving average multiplied by 2. And whenever these two lines converge, whenever the short-term moving average, which is the 111-day moving average, converges with the 350-day moving average, Bitcoin has historically always reached a top within pretty much 3 days of the conversion. And we can see it right here. We can see the lines converging here at these red lines. This was all the way back in 2013. We had a top for Bitcoin. Then again, it converged here in November of 2013. We had the top of the second cycle. This was the first cycle. Then we had it in 2018 at the conversion time. And this was around December 2017. We had pretty much a top within those 3 days. Also, last cycle, we had a top here. This was in March of 2021, where the lines converge. And within 3 days, every time historically, Bitcoin has reached a top and peaked out whenever this indicator flashed. And what's very important here to see is that these lines are currently very far from touching. The orange line and the green line are still very far away. And what does this indicate? Well, according to the theory, and this has had historically 100% accuracy, we are still far away from a top. Add to this that the search volume is very low right now on Bitcoin. If we go to Google Trends and we look at the search volume, there's not much interest in Bitcoin at the moment. So according to this graph, there's a lot of potential for Bitcoin to still go higher before we top out. And of course, this graph has been correct every single time in history. So that's a good news for us, of course, but it's not all sunshines. We should still expect that also usually we top out in Q4. Usually we top out around December, November of each cycle. So let's keep that in mind, but it's good to note. Now let's quickly look at Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin, we've seen today, went down a bit. It went down a good almost $4,000 or $5,000. And we obviously hit a top yesterday at around 126,000. And we can see that whenever Bitcoin goes up for a consecutive number of days, eventually it goes back down again, right? So we've had it right here. Bitcoin went up for a consecutive number of days, it went down, and then here again, and now again, it's just going down. And the moment where I think we're gonna continue going higher is once we break the top here with at least 2 or 3 confirmed consecutive green candles. And once we go up from there, I think we're gonna go to our next price target, which is $131,000. Another thing to note, if we look at the short term, we'll go to the 4-hourly here and we pull up the RSI. We can clearly see a divergence on the RSI, right? The RSI, the relative strength index, is going down while the Bitcoin price is going up. And usually this means we have an RSI divergence, meaning that the price usually follows the direction of the RSI. So if it goes down, it indicates that the price will eventually go down after this. And the same can be seen for Ethereum, right? We have a divergence here. The RSI is downward sloping while the price is upward sloping, and eventually the price follows the RSI. And where's the target for Bitcoin? Well, I think we can potentially go back down to this level here at 117. Or we could potentially fill the CME gap. The CME gap was around 111,000, if I remember correctly. But again, these are just short-term moves, and I think we're gonna go higher this cycle before we eventually top out. So no need to worry. If you look at Ethereum, where's the target? Well, I would say it's around these prices here, where we can see convergence of the price here. You can see the price has converged around here, and this is around $4,300 per Ethereum, which is, I think, a good point to bounce up from. And quickly to note, Binance, of course, has reached our target. Let me reload the page. We have mentioned a target for BNB coin of around about $1,250. And if we check it out here, we have actually pretty much hit our target now. We've already surpassed the target of 1,250. So again, a good point to take profits. If any of you guys hold BNB coin, I would take some profits here. Personally, I've done so. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, leave a like, and see you guys next time. Bye.